They put him into the Marines.
Now, what exactly were the Marines at that? The Marines there at that time?
Navy.
The Austrians. Oh, but he was in the Navy, the German Navy,
of course,
because Austria has no ocean.
Yeah, Austria was annexed to Germany.
Right, right. Okay, I get it now. So.
And he got first.
So what was he on a ship or a submarine or?
I think the first one was in Czechoslovakia or somewhere they were stationed. And then he got transferred to Le Havre. To France, okay, yeah. No, he was actually in Le Havre, and he wasn't on the ships. He was in administration because he was a businessman. So he was doing the payrolls for the soldiers and stuff like that. So he wasn't really in fighting or anything. But
he was drafted nonetheless.
He was drafted. And he was in the thing, you know, when the Germans had to move out of France, he made the whole, they used to call that Rückzug, the whole march back to Austria, eh? They went on bikes, and you know, and sometimes they got a lift on trucks, you know, the German army.
When the war was over?
Yeah, well, when the war was not over yet, but the Germans had to get out of Paris because the Americans were coming.
Right,
right. So they were retreating. Okay, they were retreating, and then he was for several months. He was in a camp for prisoners, prisoner of war camp, somewhere in Salzburg, yeah, near Salzburg. Yeah. So we got word that he's okay, and that he's in a prisoner camp, okay, and yeah. So, and then when he came back, he reopened the store and everything, and so business as usual.
So then, from after being in Austria for a while, you went to Switzerland.
Yes. Well, when Tante Franzi was there, I asked her if she could get me a job, because she was in Switzerland and Albin was in Switzerland. So she got me this job at Keller's, remember? On Manesseplatz in Zurich. Okay. So I got that job there, and it just so happened they were Mitzi, her sister, and Franska, and another girl. They came with somebody who had a business trip to Austria from Switzerland, and they said they're gonna pick me up and I can go with them to Zurich. Okay, so that's how I managed to get to Zurich. And then Tante Franzi was saying, Albin says, in Zurich he'll never be able to have his own shop. It's way too expensive and too regulated. There can only be a carpenter shop, one carpenter shop in a certain area, you see. You know, and
they're very, very
structured, like, yeah. Okay. So Tante Dina also wrote me if I would want to come to Canada, you know, since I left already Maria Eland, you know, and she was my mom's sister, you know. And Uncle Hans was here already in Canada. So that's how. And because the Annetas wanted to come, I said, yeah, why don't I go with them, you know? So then I went to Austria and applied for my papers so that I could go, you know, that I got accepted as immigrant to Canada. I went out to Linz by train and I applied and everything. And then Tante Franzi came home and they got married in St. Jakob, so I was at their wedding, the church wedding, you know. They married in Switzerland, standesamtlich. How do you say that? They had a legal but not a church wedding. Yeah, they had a legal wedding. They had to you know, to put in the papers to be immigrants to Canada. So they were legally wed, but now they went to the church. Yeah, and in Austria they had a church wedding. And then
Fetwig. 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 Fetwig.